So what, we get drunk. So what, we smoke weed. We're just having fun. We don't care who sees.
I have one thing to talk about this week. It's going to be really in-depth, but it should be brief. I'm really outraged about this. President Obama gave a news conference this past week and spoke for about 10 minutes straight and then took questions for about 40 minutes, and I couldn't get through the whole thing. It was 50 minutes total, and I stopped at like 30 because I just couldn't take any more of the bullshit. I just can't believe I loved Obama. I was all about him. It was so exciting, and now I just can't even fucking listen to him. It's just ridiculous. So he comes up and he's like, my number one priority is the security of every the American citizens. It's thundering outside right now, so maybe that'll add some more excitement to my rant. But anyways, so he then says that in May he called for a review of our surveillance programs and cited that it's critical to find a balance to protect security and preserve freedom. So I just was amazed at that point because so here he is knowing that it's an issue and it needs to be reformed. Why can't we know about it? Why isn't that something that's like, what are you reforming? Why can't you tell us what that is at that point when you're saying it needs to be reformed? What are you doing that needs to be reformed? He's like so proud of himself that he said in May, oh, I mentioned it in May. He said it like 3 times, maybe even more than that throughout the 30 minutes I watched. So you knew in May, you're just keeping us all in the dark, like, so the terrorists don't know. But how many millions of people are not terrorists that you're fucking stalking and storing it? Just stop that shit. Like, the terrorists don't know now not to say shit over the phone or the internet. Like, why wouldn't they just mail something? Why wouldn't they have a dude, like the runner, like, I'm just gonna tell you and you go tell them? Come the fuck on, man, like, shit. So, he goes on to insult my intelligence even further by saying, it's right to ask questions, it's right to be concerned. Thanks. I'm glad that you approve that. Thank you. So, he talks about American openness, which, where? I don't see it open anywhere. He says he's going to take steps to ensure the American public are comfortable with what's being done to us, which is nice of him. So he says that he has appointed a Privacy and Civil Liberties Oversight Board to review where counterterrorism efforts and value come into attention. That's a direct quote. What the fuck does that mean? Where they come into attention? Like, when the public gives a shit about it, that's when you're gonna, like, have these people review, like, what we should give a shit about? Who are these people? How come they get to decide? Okay, so he also says that he's asked his national security team to be more transparent and to pursue reforms. Sure. I'm so sure the NSA is going to just actively pursue reforms on their own shit that they're trying to do. Okay. So he goes into 215 of the Patriot Act, and he says that there's a program that collects telephone records. He says he's taking 3 steps about that program. Transparency, he's going to increase oversights in the program, and he's going to place constraints on the use of authority. That's new? Okay? Why the fuck hasn't that been going on since fucking Patriot Act was written 10 years ago? He talks about improving the public's confidence over the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Corps. That is also known as FISC, and his his words to describe what it is an oversight providing judicial review of certain intelligence activities. A federal judge must find actions of the government are consistent with the Constitution. So he then talks about how, okay, well, people can argue that the judge is just getting a one-sided opinion from the government, so of course he's just going to be like, yeah, that's sure, yeah, go get all the intelligence you can off of these people because you're telling me you need it. Right? Okay, so then Obama says to make sure Obama says that he is going to make sure civil liberties have an independent voice in appropriate cases by making sure the government's position is challenged by an adversary. That disturbed me so much. Inappropriate cases? Deemed by who? And what appropriate cases get an independent voice? Like, okay. Okay. And then, the challenge by an adversary? Really? Really? So, somebody who's standing up for a private citizen saying that intelligence doesn't have the right to be collected, that's unlawful, that's an independent voice or an adversary? What the fuck is happening here? Okay, so just wrapping up, I'm so sick of it. Full-time civil liberties and privacy officer was appointed. Okay, and then he is appointing outside experts who are going to review everything and then come up with the final report at the end of the year. So everything that's been popping off, that is his response. He's appointed an officer and a committee and asked private fucking experts to come in. Why aren't our opinions worth anything? Okay, that's all I got. I'm just pissed. I just can't believe that our government justifies and just, he was just so like, I'm not gonna comment on that during the questions. Like, what the fuck? It's just making me so heated. Okay, so my quote is a happy one. The loving are the daring, and that is by Bayard Taylor. Thank you for watching. Have an excellent week. See you soon.
So what, we get drunk, so what, we smoke weed, we're just having fun, we don't care who sees. So what, we go out, that's how it's supposed to be, 'cause you know I'm high as fuck, young and wild and free.
So what, I keep them rolled up, sagging my pants, not caring what I show, keep it real.